Thanks for coming, everybody. Drew Pruitt is our next speaker. 3 years of Drew's meandering educational career were spent right here in Las Vegas, where he served as the public events officer and the president of the SSA at UNLV. In his final semester, he organized a fundraiser that has become an annual event, bringing in well over $2,000 every year for the SSA at UNLV. Today he's going to tell us how to do it, how to raise $2,000 in one night. Drew Pruitt.
Okay, start off by saying in the introduction said that I organized the event. That's partially true, but I probably get about 1/10 of the credit for it. As we'll see when we go into this, this will be bigger than any 1 or 2 people in your group. This will be something that a lot of people have to work on. $2,000 in one night. 3 years ago when we first had this idea, that sounded a lot like getting rich quick. Here in Vegas, there are a lot of ideas about how to make it big in one night, whether it's roulette or craps, something a little more easy, blackjack, or right now the World Series of Poker is going on. But no, it's none of those. It's something far more mature and respectable. We'll be throwing a party instead. What I found most interesting about this fundraiser is that it doesn't feel like a fundraiser. So much of what we do, the people that we get money from, even the volunteers and leaders ourselves, it's draining on us because it's our resources, it's our time. This event really did feel like fun. And beyond just throwing a party, you get to sell people into slavery and exploit other people's work as well. So lots of fun things will happen. But what do we actually do? What is it that I'm hoping many groups across the country will start doing? It's called a benefit show. Like I said, it's basically a party. You just book some bands, maybe some other forms of entertainment, have people show up, do some date auctions, and maybe an art auction, some raffle, some secular trivia in between. A lot of different fun things that you can do. It lasts 4 hours in an evening, 4, maybe 5 hours, and it's just a lot of fun. One of probably the most uncomfortable portion of the show for us when we started it was seeking sponsorship. And we'll look at that as we go into it. But as you can see, the sponsorship portion actually turned out to be a very positive thing. The first real benefit show that we did, this is the breakdown of how much we made. You can see from each of the different, where I say bands and entertainment, that was the door charge that we charged to come in. We had $125 in expenses for the entire show. It's not difficult to do from a financial standpoint. You don't need resources to start with this. And as you can see, our first year of doing it, we made $2,100. The following year, we made $2,200. And I think there's a lot of room for improvement over what we did. And I'm excited to see what other groups can do and come up with when more groups start doing it. As we go through this, before we get into the details of it, there are 3 things that I want everybody to remember when looking at this, because probably this is going to be a little overwhelming or exciting or scary or all of the above for any of you that are sitting here thinking, my group's been around for 3 years and we haven't seen $2,000 in any of the 3 years combined, not even close, let alone trying to imagine doing that all in one night. But remember that this is fun. This will be fun for you guys to put on. It's something it's hard, it'll take work to do, but it'll be worth it. And in another sense, it's actually easy, because things will go wrong, and it's okay for things to go wrong. It's a party. When something goes wrong at a party, people just laugh and move on. So it's not like, there shouldn't be any large pressure coming into this event. The rest of this talk's broken down into 2 sections, preparing for the event and running the event. Those of you that were here for Jesse's talk, I'm going to be more guilty than he was in talking faster than I should. And I'm still going to leave large portions out, and at the end of the talk I'll tell you kind of where to go to find some of the gaps that I've left here. Start by talking about preparing for the event. Getting started, biggest thing you need to understand is just start planning early. If you start planning for this event 2 months before it happens, you're already late to the game. A lot of these things take some time to come together. Planning early is going to be very important. Also, use plenty of people. For a long time, our group, we would assign one person to lead an event or a project, and that would be their project. This is going to take a lot more people than that. You're going to need to start to divvy out responsibilities and use all of your leaders to help organize this. The biggest thing that will determine how much money you make or don't make is how effective your promotions are, not just to your own members, but to the community at large and to other people. We'll show you some ways that even if your group is small, that you can get people to show up to these and get money into your group. And fourth, if you're not already accepting credit cards, you really should. For a lot of what's going to go on here, that will be important. There was an app that we used for the iPhone called Square. I believe it's free to sign up for, at least it was a couple years ago. They'll give you a little thing that plugs into your phone. You can swipe credit cards, email receipts. It's great. You should definitely do that. Booking the venue will be your first priority. It's hard to move on and do anything else if you don't know where you're going to be and what's going to happen. Couple things to keep in mind in determining where to have this part of your benefit show. You know, somewhere that has bands is obviously the easiest way, since they'll be set up to have them. It's nice to have a place that's both alcohol friendly and under 21 friendly, so people that are old enough to drink can come and drink and have a good time. Most places that have live bands will be, you know, bars or bar restaurants anyway, but with college groups it's always important to be able to have minors that are there. The closer to campus, the better. More students will be able to show up. You'll be able to do more in terms of sponsorship and familiarity. But you may not be able to stay really close to campus because you'll have some needs that you need to look at with where you go. Look at the venue. Ask, you know, how will we be separated from the rest of the group that's here? Or are they okay with us taking over the whole place for the evening? Both of the places we've been have allowed us to charge everybody that comes through the door, even the people who aren't there for our show. You'll be bringing a lot of people to this place, to this venue for the evening. Don't be afraid to ask for things. Do they have a PA system? I'm not going to talk a lot about how to actually book bands. That's one of the things I'm going to skip over, but there are resources for you for that. One thing you might be considering and where to go is, do they have a PA system that your bands will be able to use? Looking for sponsorship. This is almost certainly going to be the most uncomfortable thing for everyone because it's basically door-to-door sales. Not very many people like doing door-to-door sales. But really, I would encourage all of you to do this because there's absolutely no risk to it. If you get told every time, if you go to 15 or 20 businesses, every single one of them tells you no, you should still go out and do it. There are other benefits to going through this process than just getting the sponsorship. But if you recall from the slide earlier, our group made $500 on the first show from a sponsorship. We told them we would put their name on all of our publishing materials. We printed a coupon for them on the back of the flyers that we handed out so that people who received the flyers and were at the show could go to the restaurant and say, here's my 10% off. It was a place right next to campus, so they wanted to advertise to college students. One person in our group who was not me really wanted to do this. Michael Gobot, our president at the time, said we could do it, we could do it great. The rest of us laughed at him. 5 days later, he had a sponsorship for $500. He recommends that you ask for $500 and say, if you're not willing to do that, if I don't find anyone that can do $500, then we'll come back and we'll negotiate something smaller. If you're going to be very small or you're very uncomfortable, you might start with $200 or $300. But start with that, ask them for that. If they say no, then ask them for other things. Tell them, we're going to be doing a date auction. Would you donate, instead of $500 for sponsoring the show, would you donate a free meal for 2 at your restaurant? Would you donate free tickets to the museum that's here or the show that's here? Whatever businesses that you're there, ask them for something that you could then raffle off or give to one of your members to use in a date night. So even if you never get the $500 sponsorship, the other benefits that come from this will give you a cheap way to do raffles and other fun date events that will make this show fun. Booking the entertainment, again, book early, book local bands because they'll do it for free. It's really not important who the bands are. It's nice if they're not so loud and obnoxious that people leave. But really, if the band will play for free and if they're likely to be able to get 5 or 10 of their own fans to come to your show, do that. Give them flyers, print out quarter-page flyers and hand each band 400 of them. Tell them to give these to your friends, give these, hand these out at other shows that you're doing. Get your fans to come to our show, because then they'll pay $8 at the door. They might participate in the raffle and other things. And you shouldn't really have a problem finding bands that will do it for free. There are local bands everywhere. Promoting the event, again, start early. Make your flyers as quickly as you can. Here are a couple of flyers that our group made. We had some fantastic artists in our group. I see some wide eyes. It's okay if your group doesn't make flyers, they're that fantastic, for two reasons. One, any flyer will help, and two, the SSA has templates for these. When one group somewhere in the country makes a template for one of these flyers, they can send that, and it can be a resource to you. So you can actually obtain the templates for these or other flyers through the SSA's website and their resources, and just plug your information in on these flyers. If you get a sponsor, be sure to put the sponsoring company's name on there. Use social media, all of the other methods of promotion that we won't be covering in this talk. Promote, promote, promote. Second category, running the event. This is the fun part. The planning and the prep takes a couple of months, and you'll want to have somebody, probably want to have somebody separate doing the looking for sponsorship, someone separate booking the bands. I didn't have anything to do with booking the bands or the venue when I was helping to organize this. We had one of the members in our group was a musician and knew local bands. He assures me that you can find bands and venue if you don't have any experience with it. There are still easy ways to do that, but split this up among everybody. But that will be work. Running the event, this is actually fun. I would recommend that you have someone at the door that charges, have a sign up that says $8 minimum donation. You could let people in for an optional donation. You'll have a lot of people that then won't donate. $8 sounds like less than 10, and if you sell raffle tickets at the door, then it's a good excuse to not hand out change. Somebody comes up and say it's $8 minimum donation. They say, okay, they hand you a 10 or a 20, say, would you like to buy a couple of raffle tickets for $1 each to round that up to 10? Be right there at the door selling the raffle tickets to them. And tell them what's going to be going on. Don't just have them come in the door, give you your money, and then let them through. Tell them what's going to happen. Say, welcome, thank you. At 8 o'clock is when our first band is going on. It's so-and-so. Just before then, we're going to come out and do a couple announcements, say what's going on. Throughout the course of the evening, we've got some fantastic date auctions. There's an art auction in the back corner. Be sure to go check that out. Here's your raffle tickets. You'll need to turn this in right next to the art auction table. Make them go where they can spend more money to turn in their raffle tickets. But familiarize people with what's going on. Let them know what to expect and what they should stay for and what they shouldn't. As far as running the entertainment, somebody who's not at the door should be the MC. Somebody who's not stationed anywhere else should be making the announcements, thanking the bands, thanking the sponsors for doing that. This should be somebody that's outgoing. If there's not someone that's comfortable MCing, find somebody anyway, just like the door-to-door sales and the sponsorship. Somebody has to do it. A lot of groups will have somebody that thinks that this is fun. This is what I did when I was around for the first benefit show that the SSA at UNLV did. And it was a lot of fun. You get to actually run an auction and you get to sell your friends to anywhere from total strangers to other good friends, or maybe even people they don't like all that much. There are a lot of fun things that happen when you auction off human beings. Only good things can happen, I assure you. We would recommend that for the bands you do 30-minute sets. And you do 30-minute sets once an hour. So that gives 15 minutes for a band to tear down, 15 minutes for the next band to set up, and during that 30 minutes is when the MC comes back up and starts doing a couple of the date auctions. Does one or two of the raffle items, makes other announcements, does secular trivia or group trivia, whatever it like. So the MC is keeping the entertainment going while the bands are breaking down and setting up. Be sure to be strict with your bands on when they start and finish. Have the MC give them signals when they have one song left, how much time they have. It may or may not be a big deal if you fall behind, because it's your show, you can do whatever the hell you want. But keeping it running smoothly is nice, and giving people the ability to know what to expect and to be able to stay for the auctions later. If everybody leaves after the first hour, then nobody's going to buy the auctions that are at the end. So be predictable. Don't give them the idea that they're going to be stuck here forever. Let them know what to expect so they can plan how long to stay or not. Just covered that. Save something good for last. If you have a particular date auction that people are really looking forward to, consider saving that. You obviously don't want to wait too long when a lot of people have left, but if you have a good raffle item, there's one fun raffle item that's significantly more valuable than the other items, save that one for last. Give people a reason to stay. The date auction, this is, in my opinion, by far the funnest portion of the evening. The first year that we did it, I think we had 7 or 8 people that auctioned off dates. The second year we had 12. Have the person who's allowing themselves to be auctioned pay for everything, so the person who's buying the date doesn't have any additional expenses that are on top of it. But if you incorporate asking local businesses for the donations, whether it's movie tickets, whether it's, here we have all kinds of shows on the strip that we can have for free tickets to a museum, depending on how bold or aggressive you want to be with the things that you do. We had one member that is a member at a shooting range and offered a date to take somebody to the shooting range. We had one member who was a hairstylist and offered to do a hair, cut someone's hair. It doesn't have to be traditional date items. The biggest selling date auction that we had was one of our advisors is a geology professor, and he offered to take 2 people down to the Columbia River at the base of the Hoover Dam, hike them down into the canyon through a hike explaining the geological formations in the area and how things came about, and then had a picnic lunch with some wine right on the river, and then hike back up. It was fantastic. It sold for $400. We've had everything from all-night board games to trips to a museum to President Michael Gobon did a date of drinking cheap alcohol in the parking lot and then taking people to various strip clubs around. There are a wide range of activities that you may or may not choose to attach your group's name to. This sold to another dude in the group, unsurprisingly, for $250. And really, with this, just be fun. Don't encourage people to do anything they're not feeling safe with. Yeah, it was as crazy as it sounds. Obviously be safe. Don't let any of your members get wrapped up into doing something they're not comfortable with. If somebody in your group says, I don't feel comfortable with this person, please don't let them win me at the auction. Have a dishonest auction if you need to. Let somebody in the group buy that person for $500 and then not ever actually pay it, so that somebody doesn't go out in an unsafe situation. But really, these are great fun. Be creative and unique, and do a bunch of them. These are great sales, and having them every 30 minutes is something that keeps people around. Even if you don't buy them, you have fun watching them and listening to them and seeing people bid for other human beings. It's great fun. What happened? So I said use donated items. For the art auction, we made $300 on this. We had a couple of local artists, secular artists, that donated paintings and photographs and pieces that sold very well. We had a local character artist that did a Charles Darwin character that sold for $100. We had another local artist that did a painting of Mother Mary doing the shocker. So this was a big hit. As you can tell from kind of some of the themes here, we have a fairly non-politically correct group, and it's okay if you don't want to go there, but look for creative ways to provide things for people to have fun looking at and fun doing. We didn't do this as a live auction. We did it as a silent auction by the raffle box. People would look at the art and then write down how much they bid before then you go back to see if anyone else had overbid you. But these were a lot of fun. And you don't have to do each of these separate items that we talked about. You can do different things. You can focus more on some or others. But have fun with all of this and be creative and think about different things that you can do. One of the ideas that we've had is there's a person in the local atheist group that dresses up like Jesus and talks to people like Jesus. And we've thought about having him at one of the benefit shows, just kind of being there and around and talking to people. Be creative with this stuff. As far as the raffle goes, the raffle you may or may not end up making a lot of money on. We made $100 on this one on the first one, which was good money, but not very much compared to some of the other things that we made. But what it did do is it gave us a way to use some kind of lesser or miscellaneous items. Businesses that donate a $25 gift card. You can't really auction off a $25 gift card, right? I suppose you could, but auctioning off what's basically a cash value, something, seems a little less fun to me. But having them in a raffle was a way that all the things that were donated by other businesses that didn't sponsor us went into this raffle or into the date auction. Ask your local and national groups for things. You know, the SSA nationally, every time we've written them and said, oh, we're having an auction, like send us something. They'll mail us a box of books, you know, books that the authors, people on their speakers review have done. Contact national organizations, say, we're doing a small fundraiser, can you send us something for free? You know, anything, whatever it is. The place that held the benefit show the first time donated a Newcastle bar mirror that was fantastic. You know, got a lot of people to buy raffle tickets because they wanted this bar mirror that was worth, you know, about $100 on its own. In conclusion, you know, like I said, it's hard and it's easy. It's hard because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of things that are different than you've done before. But it's easy because it's really okay if things go wrong. You know, it'll look funny, just laugh at it and have a sense of humor, it'll be fun. Don't do it my way, don't do it the way that the SSA UNLV does, do it your own way. It's your party, it's your group, you know what your people will enjoy. Do that. And finally, there is an event running guide for this. If you go to secularstudents.org/activity packets, there's a full write-up for how to do everything that I've just covered here, as well as how to book bands and a venue. Utilize that. You can email me. My email address is there. Michael Boba, the president of the SSA UNLV two presidents ago, who did the booking of the bands, is happy to take your questions about any of that. Do we have time for questions and answers right now, or are we all done?
Just a little time.
A little time? Okay, do we have any questions? Did I talk so fast you need to have a minute to catch up?
Was this event on campus or off campus?
It was off campus. It was at, I mean, we're here now, so it was at Yayo Taco, which is right across the street from us. And they were great. They let us charge everyone that was, you know, coming through the door. They let us take up the whole place. They gave us a drink special. You know, you're going to be bringing in a lot of people to this venue. Don't be afraid to ask for cheaper drinks. You know, tell them, like, not only do I want you to not charge me for this, but we're bringing in 50 to 100 people. Like, what kind of drink special are you going to offer us? You know, ask them for things. They'll be willing to, because you're bringing 50 to 100 people into their venue. You know? But yeah, the closer to campus, the better generally, but you may have to go further away to find a place that will actually meet needs. So one more, yes?
What was the capacity?
I would guess that their fire code capacity was probably around 100. I think we had 85 people in there. It was the most at any time. People will kind of come and go throughout the evening. Not everybody stays for the whole time. But, you know, I mean, you may or may not be expecting 100 people to show up, and so you may be okay with somewhere smaller. You may even just ask for a banquet room in something closer to a normal restaurant. You know, sometimes the restaurants will use banquet rooms for, you know, small bands or private parties. Feel free to do that. Yes?
What's the sweet spot, you think, for door charge for these events?
I like the $8 door charge because that's, you know, not many people can't afford that. And, you know, if you have people in your group that are that can't afford the $8 and approach you early, you know, you can talk to them about it and give them an opportunity to work off the door charge by handing out flyers, doing other things. But I found $8 is a really unobtrusive amount that people don't mind giving up. And if you explain to them, we're at the door, we're a nonprofit group, here's what we do, thank you so much for supporting us, $8 is what we ask as a minimum donation. You'll get people that will give you $20 or more. It'll happen. Okay, I think that's it for questions. Find me around the campus, or, you know, if you have any other questions later.